Daily 16-hour fasting feels productive, until one day it suddenly doesn't. Your energy drops. Your strength disappears. Fat loss stalls, even though you're eating less. And here's the part nobody wants to hear. It's not willpower. It's biology. When you compare 12-hour fasts, 24-hour fasts, 36-hour fasts, and even 72-hour fasts, you can actually see exactly where 16:8 goes wrong, and why doing it every single day can slow down the very metabolism you're trying to speed up. Today, I'm going to show you where fasting helps, where it backfires, and how to use it correctly so it keeps working long-term. I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I was doing 16:8 fasting almost every single day. And at first, it felt incredible. I felt sharp, light, focused. All the classic fasting benefits people talk about. But then one morning, I woke up, and something was off. My energy was low. My strength was down. My motivation just wasn't there. And I remember thinking, how am I eating less, but somehow burning less? It felt like my engine just wasn't running hot anymore. That moment sent me down a deep scientific rabbit hole, not just into how long to fast, but how often. And once you understand this, you can't unsee it. So today, we're going to cover 3 things. What fasting actually does to metabolic rate, including the exact point where it helps and where it slows you down. How fasting frequency affects glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity. How often you should actually fast if you want fat loss without metabolic slowdown. No hype. No extremes. Just what the research consistently shows. Let's start with metabolism, because this is where most people get confused. There's a well-known study published in the British Journal of Nutrition that looked at 12-hour fasts, 36-hour fasts, and 72-hour fasts. Intuitively, you'd think, the longer I fast, the faster my metabolism goes. That's only partially true. Here's what actually happened. After 12 hours, fat burning increased, but metabolic rate barely changed. Then something interesting happened between 24 and 36 hours. Metabolic rate increased. Why? Because fasting increases norepinephrine, adrenaline, and circulating fatty acids. That combination puts your body into a high-energy fat-burning mode. Your metabolism doesn't slow, it ramps up. But here's the critical detail. After 72 hours, metabolic rate did not increase any further compared to 36 hours. And this tells us something important. Short-term fasting protects metabolic rate. Extended or frequent fasting triggers conservation. This is where daily 16:8 fasting gets people into trouble. Not because fasting is bad, but because it often turns into chronic calorie restriction without realizing it. There's a powerful study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that explains this perfectly. Participants overate for 1 week, then entered a 50% calorie deficit for just 3 weeks, then refed for 2 weeks. After only 3 weeks, resting metabolic rate dropped 266 calories per day. Nearly half of that was adaptive thermogenesis. They lost 5% of their muscle mass. That's not months. That's 14 to 21 days. This explains why people feel amazing for the first few weeks of fasting, and then suddenly stall. The body adapts faster than most people realize. Here's the most important distinction in this entire video. Fasting is a stressor. Starvation is a signal to conserve. Strategic fasting signals repair, increases fat oxidation, preserves metabolism. Chronic calorie restriction signals survival, lowers energy output, shrinks metabolic rate. Fasting activates autophagy, cellular cleanup. But cleanup alone doesn't build a stronger system. You need rebuilding. Protein, calories, recovery. Think of it like this. You consolidate broken parts into one powerful engine. But if you never refuel it, it just sits there. Fat loss isn't just about burning fat today. It's about metabolic flexibility, your ability to switch between fuels. There's a study in the Journal of Applied Physiology that compared people after a 13-hour fast, a 72-hour fast. After the 72-hour fast, fat burning was higher, But glucose tolerance was worse. Blood sugar spiked higher. Insulin spiked higher. The body had trouble switching gears. Long fasts push you deep into fat metabolism. But doing them too often reduces your ability to handle carbs. Now here's the counterpoint. Another study showed that non-consecutive 24-hour fasts actually improved glucose tolerance. Same tool. Different frequency. Opposite outcome. Frequency matters more than duration. When you zoom out and look at all the data together, a clear pattern emerges. You do not need to fast every day to get benefits. In fact, fasting every day is often what stops progress. Here's what works best long-term. 1 36-hour fast per week. OR 2 non-consecutive 24-hour fasts. OR 3 16-hour fasts spread out. This gives you norepinephrine boost, increased fat oxidation, improved insulin sensitivity, no metabolic slowdown. Consistency does not mean every day. Consistency means repeatable. Something your body doesn't fight against. Here's how to apply this immediately. 1. If you fast daily, take breaks. Every 7 to 14 days, take 2 to 3 days off. 2. Use longer fasts sparingly. Once per week or once every 2 weeks. 3. Keep protein high. Protein preserves muscle and metabolic rate. 4. Watch warning signs. Low energy, poor sleep, strength loss equals metabolic conservation starting. This isn't about discipline. It's about rhythm. When fasting becomes a pulse instead of punishment, your metabolism stops fighting you and starts working with you. Use fasting like a sprint, not a marathon. If this helped you, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.